I believe it has to be the Malloy Plat, the 40 acres out in Ferndale. I think that was 15 months of pending feasibility before it was cleared for close. So that was a good long one. That just takes patience, that takes patience. That was a unique property because we had sort of an assemblage transaction where we had two different sellers with different parcels, both abutting 20-acre parcels that were going to close simultaneously with one buyer. And it was subject to preliminary plat approval. So they wanted to make sure if they were to close that they could have entitlements to develop. So that took just patience on the seller's side as the buyer was working through their application process. I think that could have been the longest one, managing. Yeah.
For 15 months.
15 months.
You all became best friends and
we worked through it. It was it was a little bit of a process, but we were able to get through. And proposal, when the offer was written, when it came through the purchase and sale agreement, it was spelled out clearly that that was the only way that they would close. So I mean, I try to set the expectations right up front, like ask for as much time as they needed. There was no a special closing addendum was written specific to that. Once they had the approval that they needed, then they would close. So the seller couldn't really go back and say, well, now we want to close sooner. There was no closing without approval. So we just had to let the powers that be that oversee those applications, the councils and such that they were proposed through, get signed off on. And then once that was done, then it was closed. And now, one of the nice things about that is it's creating a lot of new houses for the city of Ferndale and for people to purchase. And everyone knows how residential inventory is so tight. If people can work together and cooperate, and what I think do a very nice development opportunity, would be great to see more of that in this region. So there's more future housing for people, new construction, future housing to meet the demands and needs of the population in the county here. There was a lot of paperwork for that particular transaction, for the Malloy transaction. There was so we were in touch quite a bit. We were given updates regularly on where things were, when the next meetings were scheduled for, hearings were taking place, what documents were being requested, things that we needed to get done so we could stay on track to be ready for the next meeting. So it's just, communication is huge. You have to have open lines of communication. And in this particular case, there was, two sets of different sellers. So we were, if we needed to get one document, it was likely that we needed to get the other one signed too. So we go to both, and the seller signed this one for them, and we need you to sign this one for you, and then we'll send it to the buyer and keep things moving along. So in the spirit of getting the property sold, because they weren't not looking at developing it themselves. Right. And in this case, this property really only made sense as if it was going to be the total 40 acres for Malloy. Yeah. So for that plat. So it was still attractive as a 20-acre site, but basically if you look at the whole of it, I think it was only attractive if it was going to be sold as this sort of assemblage, which is common in commercial. Some people need more than what just one site has to offer, so they'll go ahead and look at possibly taking down the neighboring site or the next door site or the whole city block, whatever they need to do the development. So, and when those things happen, usually there's a little bit more time involved, and it's going to take getting people on the same page and then just working together to get through it.